Hello, hello. How is it going, everyone? This is Eunice Tan coming live from Singapore. If you can hear me, type loud and clear in the chat box. Hello, it's a brand new week, 7th of September. We are entering the last 4 months of the year. How is it going, everyone? Let us know where you are watching this from. Are you watching this from Singapore or outside Singapore? If you are watching this from outside Singapore, let us know which country and what time zone. And are you working from home or are you required to go to work? And if you are watching from Singapore, same thing. Let us know. Are you working from home or you are in the office watching this at the moment? Right. So let us know what's going on, what's your plan for this week as well. We like to get engaged as much as possible. Right. My name is Eunice. I'm an entrepreneur and speaker, and I'm the director of a GPS consultancy firm. This is a business consultancy firm that I've been running for the last 10 years. And during these 10 years, I actually had found out that, besides business skills, one of the common issues that many of my clients face is actually people skills. So this year we launched our Facebook page and a YouTube channel called Daily People Skills, which I want to share with people how people skills actually, what is it all about, some of the tips that I learned and have applied, which actually helped me to win a People Connector Award from the Marketing Institute of Singapore. Right. So many people think that people skills is all about EQ, communication skills, and leadership skills. As much as they are all these are good and all these are included as well. But I think people skills go much beyond that. Right? Because before you manage other people, you must first manage yourself. So what is it really about? It's really about who you really are. Right? So I'll be sharing so all my videos are about how you deal with people, also how you deal with your own self. And today's topic is a very common question that people have been asking me, and a lot of people face this issue. Everybody face this issue, and even the celebrity and famous people and the top ranking officers, they face the same issue as well. So without further delay, I'd like to start my class on time. Let's dive into today's topic, which is, let's go, how to have confidence when you have none. Yes, ever wonder how other people stay confident all the time, or do they? Were you once a confident person but not anymore? Are you confident in some areas but absolutely no confidence at all in other areas, or absolutely no confidence to speak of? Right, these are the 4 common scenarios that people face every now and then. And honestly, I can talk about these 4 scenarios. I can come up with these 4 scenarios is because I went through all these 4 scenarios. So I know how you are going through, how people feel, what you're going through, and what the problems you face, and the confusions and everything. But seriously, what is confidence? Right, that's what we are going to explore today. What is confidence? What is it not? Okay, why and when are we not confident? And of course, I will share with some quick tips and some of the how-tos as well. So let's get started. Right, so first and foremost, why is it important in the first place? It's very important, partly because people are attracted to confident people, right? There's no doubt about it in that sense. Somehow we are just drawn to confident people. It's not about how they look. We'll talk about what they are not later on, right? But very simply, it's a very important kind of attraction, right? It's just so undescribable how this attraction comes about, but we are just drawn to confident people one way or another. And also, it is important because it's for your own growth and it's for your own good. So, because the benefits of that is that when you are attracted to confident people, and And by the same token, reversely, when you are confident, people are attracted to you. Make sense? Yes, absolutely. Right? So for example, when you walk into a room and have you ever walked into a room and then somehow attracted to someone? I'm not talking about physically romantic kind of physical attraction, okay? But something about that person that makes you stop in your tracks and you want to listen to what he or she has to say, right? The objective of learning how to be confident is for your own self, not for others. Okay? If you cannot remember anything else, remember this. Because the only person who is with you 24/7 is your own self. You have to face it up with yourself every day, every minute, every second. So do you want to spend time with a confident or not confident person? The confidence I'm talking about today is overflowing from within and not acted out. So it's all very natural and flow easily. You don't have to do anything by brute force that kind. I know there are some confidence and which people act out, they act to be confident and all. We'll talk about it later on, yeah. And but because it's flow from within, and it's actually so much easier for you because instead of you chasing others, others are attracted to you as well. Now, in business context, right, for all the business owners, whether you are freelancers, one solopreneur, or you run a team or MNC and all, you this is especially very important, especially you are in the sales department. So especially when you are doing sales, right, people are very naturally attracted to confident people. And for sales, most of the time we are chasing after people, right? But in how do you get people to chase after you then? Because for one, you need to be confident. And also, obviously, you need to be confident of your own products and services as well. It stems from there, but that's about product and services. We're talking about personal confidence as well. People are attracted to you. And in many instances, people don't buy the product or services, people buy you, right? And even if you're not an employer, you are an employee, it makes things easier for you when you have the confidence. Believe me, just think of someone in your office, in your team, right? The someone you think that he or she has that kind of confidence. If you notice, right, he will get things done easier, efficient, more effective as well. I'm not saying that he or she has no problems, but I'm just saying that he or she has somehow been able to get things done easier and quicker, and somehow you just get things done. We'll talk about what is real confidence in a minute, right? Now, before that, so let me talk about what confidence is not. Okay, what confidence is not about. First and foremost, it's not about education, it's not about age, it's not about looks or gender, etc. Right? So in terms of education, maybe just a little bit, maybe just one exception, maybe it's for professional educations like medicine or lawyers or architects. These people, yes, you need them to have that education. You need to have a certain amount of knowledge, right? For architect, you definitely don't want someone who just learns like DIY, right? And then otherwise, if you ask, for example, if you ask me to build a house, I'm sure your house will collapse, right? Me, personally, I'm legally trained, so there are certain legal knowledge that I possess, which some people, they give me the confidence in that sense. And of course, medicine, in terms of doctors, needless to say. But we are not talking about confidence in terms of like I'm higher educated, I have a higher education level than you do. So if I have a PhD, I look down on someone who has like 4 years or 6 years of education. No, not about that kind of education, right? We also not about in terms of age. Younger ones are sometimes people think that younger ones are more confident because they don't know what they cannot do, right? And they think the world is the oyster, and they just go for it in that. Yes and no, right? Some young ones, they are really confident because they have not faced any defeat or anything before. So of course they will have that confidence. But I have also seen young ones who are not confident despite in that young age. It's like, and when I look at them, it's like, where do you get this lack of from, right? Most likely it's from family that did not speak confidence into them. Now, in terms of older ones are supposed to be more confident, right? But because they are more experienced, they have more connection, they have more knowledge, etc., etc. And again, it's a yes and no. Yes, sometimes they are more experienced that makes them a bit more, they are, that will make them more, what you call, more confident in that sense. But there are also older ones which are not confident precisely because they are older ones. Okay. Hello. Okay. Partly because they have faced so much defeat in their lives and mistakes and failures that they have made, that they have actually started to lose confidence in themselves and start to wonder, are they as good as they think they are, right? So age is not an determining factors on confidence as well. Now, looks and gender definitely not necessary to help you in terms of confidence, although it kind of helps, but there's a lot of myths about that and all. So I want to share with you, like, for looks and gender, I want to just think about all the supermodels, right? Okay, supermodels are supposed to be look good, and they have everything, they have the fame, they have the money, they have all the branded stuff sent to them and all. They look confident on the catwalk. Yes, in a way, it's true, right? And during the professional catwalk session, they definitely have that confidence look and all. But I want to share, but that is not, that doesn't mean that you don't have that supermodel look. You look, you will be, you cannot be confident, right? And if you think about Nick Vujicic, the guy who has he has no hands, no limbs, and no limit. And mind you, I have a privilege to meet him a couple of times on close proximity. And on one occasion, I really managed to give him a hug. And he's such an inspiration to us, and to me at least. And I know he's an inspiration to many. And if you look at him, right, he has no hands, no legs. You know what? Look you're talking about not even the so-called normal look, right? Yeah. So yet, he's such a confident person. And Oprah Winfrey is another lady, right? That she if you look at her and she exudes a lot of confidence. And if you look at her looks in terms of, why I mentioned Oprah Winfrey, because in terms of gender, a lot of people think that men are more confident than women, and that kind of things. And women, there are some areas of some countries in the world that still think that men are better than women, right? So it's not necessarily that way in that sense. It's not about educate or all these things, all these external factors, right? Confidence is not about all these external factors. Next, confidence is also not about being loud and overbearing and pissing people off, and it's not about acting tough as well. I know there are some in animal kingdom, right? In the animal kingdom, it's very common. The smallest animal, what they do when they face with an enemy, they puff up, they stand out straight, and they make themselves look bigger, right? And that's when they don't have. But I'm not talking about that kind of so-called act out confidence either, right? A confident person doesn't have to be loud and overbearing, right? Confidence is also not about putting others down, right? So just to show you are better than them and all, which brings me to link to my next point also, right? The confidence is not about thinking that you are a better person than others. Well, you may be better in terms of competence level, knowledge, and experience, but we are not talking about being a better person than other people, right? So if you think that I have a holier than thou, I'm better than you just because I'm more I'm better educated, just because I'm older or I'm younger, I'm richer, and then I have that kind of confidence. No, if you have confidence, if you derive confidence from external factors, you are quite set up for failure, because once these external factors are gone, and that's where your confidence are gone as well, right? So it's like, if you depend on looks and your young age, you will find that one day when all these are gone, you are not going to be there forever. So one day when they are gone, people lose their confidence. That's why a lot of celebrities or good-looking people, famous people, why they go into depression after a certain age, because it's a very cruel and realistic world in terms of all that. After a while they get older, then they lose their fans or whatsoever. So whatever it is, if your confidence comes from external, once these external factors are gone, you will lose that confidence. So what is the confidence that we are talking about then? Now, the confidence that we are talking about is an inner knowing that you will get things done despite the unknown, and it's a real, grounded, steadfast mindset and personality and character. So, meaning that even though you don't know everything, even though you know there can be challenges lying ahead, and there will be, you know that somehow you will reach your destination. So, for example, if you are an employer and you are an entrepreneur and you want to close that deals, or maybe let's step back a little bit. You have always wanted to start your business, but you haven't got that confidence to do it because you don't think that you are able to do so. So for those who have started out, not that they don't have fears, they don't have anything, but they somehow inside them they know that they don't know everything. Okay, and they will face challenges when they start their businesses, but they will still go ahead and do it because they know that somehow they were able to get things done. They will be to solve one problem after another, right? And if you are an employee and you are in sales, or you have a project or you have a deal that you want to go for, the confidence is that inside you, you know that somehow you are able to get it done. You are able to make it happen, right? Or your boss gave you a new project and you have never done it before, but you know somehow, hey, you know what? I am able to get it done. So that is the kind of confidence I'm referring to. And it's really not about being loud, and being showy and being show off, that kind of thing. Have you ever come across a person who is actually quite quiet, but when you sit next to the person, you can feel that this person is really, there's something special about this person. And this person, right, without speaking much, is actually a very confident person and will deliver what he or she said. So when he say it's going to happen tomorrow, it's going to happen tomorrow, right? When she say she will make it happen, she will make it happen. It's something that is overflow within you that no words can describe, right? So earlier on we were talking about Nick Vujicic, right? So in case anyone who don't know who he is, this is the guy, right? As you can see, he has no hands, no legs, and his tagline is always no hands, no limbs, no limit, right? He's so it's just such an inspiration. Despite not having all this, right? He can go skydive, he can go board surfing, he can go diving. He even has a very beautiful wife, and he's got I think 4 children and including one pair of twins. It's just so amazing. And he has a 2 years wait. If you want to invite him to speak, he has a 2 years waiting list, and he charged a 5-figure sum, right? For his speaking engagement. He's just such an amazing guy. And the next person I want to share is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, which I mentioned just now. If you look at her, she has everything sort of against her. When she started in her televisions and all, it was an era whereby not many women. It's still quite against women. It's not favorable to women. And if you look at her, she's black, right? I mean, it's not being a racist thing. We're just being logical analysis here is to her advantage as well. And if you look at her look, she has all this curly hair, which I find amazing. I just find it so beautiful. And if you look at her, she's not the typical size zero model. She's quite curvy and all. If you don't know what is size zero, just go and take a look at the mannequin in the retail shop. That is size zero, right? If you look at Oprah Winfrey, everything is against her, yet whenever you talk to her, she just exudes that kind of confidence, right? And this is the kind of confidence we want to talk about. And because of that, over the years, she has built up her television industry, a very smart woman also. Yeah, not only the look, she has the brains as well. Yeah, so I know a lot of women actually respect her, look up to her, and want to be someone like her, as much influence as her as well. Just such an amazing woman. And this guy, okay, some of you may not know, his name is Wang Zeshun. He's actually voted as the hottest grandpa at the age of 80 a few years ago when he took the China Fashion Week catwalk stage. He blew the whole world. I mean, mind you, he's 80 then, right? So this news is a little bit it was about maybe 10 years ago. so he's about 90 now. He was, and he just blew the whole world away, and everyone's like, who is this guy, right? And there were many reports about him. You can go and Google him once soon, and it's such an inspiration as well, because he himself was at a stage whereby he was obese as well, and really not a very good state, and he just pulled himself out, and he just start training himself, and improving himself, and look at him now. He's just just full of confidence. And if you look at all these three people, they are not the typical. This is what I mean, that they are not the typical uh, looks, age, gender. It's just not even so-called normal as we know it, right? So confidence comes in different shapes and forms. It really comes from within, and that's the most beautiful of all, when the confidence comes from within. Now, if confidence comes from within and it's so beautiful and so good, there's so much benefits and all. So why are we not confident? Or why and when do we have the lack of confidence? Now, there's a few occasions that we know when we lose that confidence. Now, when I say confident, it doesn't mean this person has got 24 hours, 24/7 confidence. I have my low state of at one point. I was at a very low state of myself as well. I have zero confidence, and I learned to build it, and I learned with my friends' help, of course, and also through learning, through applying, taking actions and all. But the thing is that, so why or when did I lose it? Or, in general, why do people lose their confidence at times? Right, we'll take a look now. Now, very commonly, is lack of confidence. This is the most common and most basic reason. Okay, people call it reason, but I think it's the biggest excuse as well. Let me explain why. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it's, let me talk about this one being a genuine reason first. Right, it's the most basic reason for lack of confidence is when you lack of training, when you lack of experience, and you lack of skills. Generally, yes, you won't be as confident as someone who has been doing it for more than 40 over years, right? So, when you first start something, you tend to you don't have that much confidence. But this is the most basic, and it's the easiest to overcome, because you can acquire the experience and the skills through trainings and, changing your mind. It can be acquired and can be done. Right? So that's why, to me, it's the biggest excuse. If someone keeps hiding behind this, I'm not confident because I don't have the competence skills. I am not competent enough. It is the biggest excuse, because for one, you can never learn enough. You can never learn everything. There's always something you don't know. So you cannot keep hiding behind this excuse. Right? So it can be for a period of time. So just be mindful. Maybe in the beginning, yes, right, for a little while, but after some time, you need to get out of this lack of competence mindset, right? So the next thing you need to take note of is that is it a specifically or generally not confident issue? Let me explain. Specifically, meaning that sometimes it's a particular area that you are not confident of. For example, public speaking versus public singing, right? So, for example, I am confident of public speaking, but I'm not confident of public singing. Okay, I know, but it's just different, right? And why I mentioned that, because I know of someone from church. She's a worship leader, right? She has a beautiful voice and everything, but she is terrified of public speaking. And to me, public singing is more difficult than public speaking, but to her, it's the other way around. Right? So it's actually quite interesting to know the psychology and the mindset behind why we have this kind of concept. It should be easy, right? If we are both okay to be in the public area. That's another video that we are going to talk about in that sense. But just be mindful of that in terms of is it a specific area or is it a general area? Sometimes it's about it could be another example is the words. Some people are very good with words. They are very confident when it comes to words, but sometimes it's not. But when it comes to numbers, they are oh no, they just faint. The mind is just shut, and they have no confidence in numbers at all. Right? Another example would be like design versus IT. Some people are very good at design, but when it comes to technology, they just turn into they just faint. right? Another very good example that we can think about is also people versus things, right? So sometimes people are very, maybe some of you are very good with people when it comes to people, but when it comes to things, you may not be very confident about it, right? When you come to tasks, when it comes to doing things, but when it comes to handling people, you are okay. When it comes to doing things, you are not okay, right? So these are more specific. So you are generally okay, but there are certain areas that you are not so confident of, right? And generally not confident means that you are not generally not confident in whatever area. Doesn't matter which area. It's just that just you are just not a confident person, right? So we just need to look at it whether it's specific or generally, because there are two different ways of overcoming this challenge, right? Now, it could also be past experiences. So, for example, and it could come from your personal experiences, or it could come from other people's experiences as well. So, for example, right, in the past you did something, maybe you did a public speaking, and it didn't go very well. So you keep remembering that experience, and you start off to form a story and say that you are not good with it, you are rubbish and all that, and from there on you shun from public speaking, right? It could be anything, right? It could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be a business that didn't go well, and then you start telling yourself, "Oh, I can't. I know I'm not destined to be a business person." Or it could be other people's experiences, not your own, but you see other people do, and then it didn't quite work out, and you think that that could happen to you as well. So, for example, you haven't started your business, you want to, right? But when you look at other people, you seem to hear all these failures, business failures, the high percentage of businesses that go haywire. You see you watch other people do public speaking, and they froze, and they somehow people talk about them, to laugh at them, and you feel embarrassed for them, and you find that, oh, when it's your turn to do public speaking, you start thinking, oh, what if it happens to me? So so all this, right, add on to your lack of confidence, because what if it happens to me, right? And next, we also have, and which brings me to this very big point, which is called fears, right? Okay, it's all what we are scared of. A lot of things. There's 1,000,001 thing that we can be afraid of, but there are a few categories that we can lump together, and we can look at it, because if you just look at fears in the tactical way, like, if you're afraid of fears and you tackle it, it's not a very efficient, effective way of handling the problem. But if you look at the category, at the foundation, fundamental category, you'll find that you can tackle the issue much better. So, for example, okay, the first fear. So I want to talk about the what ifs and the doubts and not sure of outcomes, and one more, embarrassment. Okay, so I'm going to talk about all this at one go, right? Because they just link together. I was thinking to talk about them separately, but it's just they're so intertwined to each other and linked to each other that I decided to talk about this field as a whole. Now we talked about a lot of what ifs. So earlier on, just the previous slides, I talked about, we see other people do public speaking and make a fool of themselves, or embarrass themselves, or we feel embarrassed for them, right? Or we see people do business and they fail, right? And we start to think, what if it happens to me? What if I make a fool of myself? What if I embarrass myself? Which actually linked to the last one, right? Embarrassment is such a big thing, right? Embarrassment, and also it could be like things like, what if I forgot my what I'm going to say, or my singing and whatever it is, or what if I tell a joke and they don't laugh, right? So what if is a very I have another video on this, but what if, just for now, just suffice to know that what if work both ways as well. Right? We'll talk about the how-tos and the quick tips later on, but just remember, what if works both ways as well, and it's there to serve you. You should be master to them and not to yourself. And with the what if, right, if you go down the negative way route, you will find that you start to have doubt about yourself. Whether can I make it? If other people are so smart and they don't make it, what about me? right? Who says you have to be smart in order to get some things done? Sometimes being smart can be a detrimental factor, right? And you sometimes it's because you are, oh, there's a typo error there. It's not sure of outcome, yes? So sometimes we do because and we start to not sure of the outcome. If we do something like now, I found a typo error despite checking it again and again. It could be an embarrassment, right? But over the years, I've learned how to overcome it. I've learned how to manage my mistakes and learn from my mistakes. Right, this could be a very good stories, and I definitely will use this episode to talk about making mistakes, which is the video is coming out soon. Just keep a lookout for that. And embarrassment, everything can be an embarrassment, right? You fall down is also an embarrassment. So there's something innate in us that we are afraid. We're just so afraid of being embarrassed. I know I don't like to be embarrassed as well, right? The basic thing, you call out somebody and you recognize the wrong person. Wow, that's quite embarrassing. But at the same time, learn to laugh at your embarrassment. It's actually quite funny, if you think about it. And with all this, right, with all these fears, we tend to play safe and we stay in our comfort zone as well, right? So we don't dare to do it. And once we play safe and we stay in our comfort zone, you will realize that your confidence level gets lower and lower. And if you think about the word confidence, we always use the term we build confidence. What is build confidence? The word build means that you go step by step, bit by bit, day by day. You just improve a bit at the same time. You think of a brick on top of another brick. That's how you build a house, right? So it's not overnight you become confident. And once you're confident, it's not that you will never be not confident, right? So you need to take note of that. So don't play if you're in a state whereby your lack of confidence because you want to play safe and you are very comfortable in your comfort zone, then that's where your lack of confidence will go downward spiral. So take note of that. Now we are also another thing, very big one is also our lack of confidence is the root. Okay, I talk about these two roots: not good enough and comparing with others. There's always innate in us, right? It's another something that is ingrained right from I guess humankind. We are always have this fear that we are not good enough. We can never measure up. There's always something, a flaw, a mistake, oversight that you can find. You know why? Because we are all humans. We are not perfect. So whatever we do, right, there's always something not perfect about it. At best, we can do 90%, not even 99, 90%. Right? And we can look at the 10% that we did not do well, the 10% that is lack of, the 10% that went wrong. So you always, when you look at that this way, you are always feeling not good enough. And how can you be confident when you think that you are not good enough? And this not good enough is made worse by comparing with others. And comparing with others, and you see that, oh, so and so is so much better, can speak better than me, can sing better than me, look better than me, and have a better connection, can design better than me, can draw better than me. Everything is always other people is better than me, right? And that will make you feel even worse. Even, you're already feeling not good enough, it's going to make you feel even worse. But I have a video that talks about comparison. And at the end of the day, I advocate don't compare. But if you have to compare healthily. So go and check out that video whereby I talk about how you can compare healthily. So on this over here, I just want to mention one word. If you really want to compare like you must compare correctly, right? Or accurately. Now, when you compare, right, if you really cannot help it, but need to compare like to like. Apple with apple, orange with orange. You cannot compare apple with orange. So what do I mean? So for example, and this is a mistake I made in the past. When I first started, right, again, talking about public speaking and starting a business, doing sales, I use this over and over again because I think it's a very good example of how you can, that covers everything. Now, when I started my public speaking, I was comparing with my mentors. I enrolled in a class and learned, and I see my mentors is like the teachers, and they are doing so well, they're speaking so well. I forgot they have been speaking for 40 years. I just started. So if you want to compare with someone in a way, don't compare with someone who is so much more experienced, so far ahead of you, right? You compare with their beginner stage. So very often if you speak to anyone who is successful, you ask them how they are when they first started, they will tell you, oh, it's terrible. I don't even want to look at my own videos. My sales was like zero or whatever it is. My first business flop. You were bound to make mistakes. Right. So when you look at that, it's because you're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to you have some learning experiences, some lessons, right? So that's why when you learn, it's part and parcel of it, right? I'm not saying that stay there and it's okay to be so not so good. You're always improving yourself. I'm saying that if you want to compare, don't compare yourself. Don't compare a beginner with an expert. You are at the beginner stage, compare with beginner stage. If you are at the intermediate, you compare with intermediate. If you're expert, then you compare with expert, right? So compare like to like, apple with apple. Okay. Right. Next, another big one also, responsibility. Yes. Why are we not confident? Talking about responsibility, right? We are not confident because we don't want to take the responsibility, and sometimes it's because you are not sure whether if you are able to handle the responsibility. That's one thing about confident people. They are willing to take it out because they know that if anything goes wrong, they are able to take the responsibility and say that it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for that, even if they are not the one who make the mistake, right? Because you are taking responsibility is you are the leader, you are the head. You will have to take responsibility even though it's not your fault. There's a difference between taking responsibility and saying that it's your fault. Yes. So sometimes we shun away because we just too afraid of the responsibility involved, right? And which actually brings me to the next point in terms of expectations. Sometimes we have wrong or inaccurate expectations of the outcome or whatever it is, and we just we just think that it's so big, it's bigger than what we think it is. We tend to imagine that things are a lot bigger than what it actually is before we even take the first step. It's very natural, but once you take the first step, you will find that it's actually not as difficult, right? And sometimes some of the aspects, when you have the wrong or inaccurate expectation, one of the things most of us don't want to do is we don't want to let other people down. So when we have a inaccurate expectation, wrong expectation, thinking that people expect us to do this, right? We want us to score 200% out of 100, right? We don't want to let the person down. We think that we cannot do it. We think that we feel that it's overwhelming, and so we start to, oh no, I can't do it. I can't keep up with your expectation. I can't meet your expectation, and that's when the confidence level went really, really down, right? And last but not least is misconception of what confidence is. Which is linked to my first few slides about what confidence is. So if you think that confidence is about being loud, being overbearing, then you don't want to be like that. And who wants to be with someone who is obnoxious, right? And so you need to know that. That's why I started off with what confidence is not and what confidence is. So once you know that it's actually come from within, you don't have to behave those behavior that you have never liked. Okay, you don't have to behave like you just need to adopt that in order to show your confidence. No, 100% no. Right? It comes from within, and it goes very naturally from there. It flows very naturally from there. So are those confident people always confident? I can tell you not so. There are times that we have no confidence at all. We have our own doubts as well. But the difference is that confident people have found some ways to manage the lack of confidence, which links into the how to, right? Okay, I know a lot of you are waiting for this, right? But I need to set the foundation correct before you go to the how to. So some of you might just, you will go straight to the end of the video. I suggest not. Just go through the process. You will learn that everything I said in the beginning, there's a reason why I said those things, right? So let's see how to, okay. So how can you build your confidence? Earlier on, I talked about building your confidence, right? It's bit by bit, step by step, brick by brick, yeah, day by day. Now, first and foremost, always remember this. There's always something new to be learned. So you learn something new every day where possible. I'm not talking about, wow, you need to go and enroll yourself for a 4-year course, every day go and enroll some kind of courses like this. No, just learn something new every day. And that will help you to keep an open mind, right? And you'll be surprised how it actually it will overflow inside you. It will be like a seed that is going to grow, and it keeps your mind fresh and sharp. Yes. And then you do something new every day. Now, do something new every day, right? You don't have to go to very big extent, that kind of thing. But it can be something that you have not done before. It could be saying hi to three strangers, right? Some of you is like, what? Say hi to three strangers? Some of you will find that it is easy peasy. Some of you is, for you, when you hear that, it's already so scary. But when you do that, right? When you do something new, you are kicking yourself out of the comfort zone area or momentum. Remember earlier on we talked about comfort zone, we talked about places. Do something new is to kick yourself out of that system, right? And think of something new every day, right? This is talking about you can having a different perspective, and how do you adopt a different perspective? How do you see have different perspectives by talking to different people or different groups of people? So, for example, don't just talk to someone of your own age. Talk to someone younger, someone older, like really older and younger, 10 years, 20 years apart, that kind of thing. Because the generations are different, the era is different, and you learn something new. There's always something new to learn, right? And then you do something new, and talk to people from different industries. So just hang out in your own industry, talk to people from other industry, you learn something new. And sometimes you can just go think something different, adopt a different perspective by observing. So I love this, right? I love to observe toddlers. They're so cute, and they are, when they start talking to you, talking back to you, some of them, they start asking why, and you have to really, really understand how what they're thinking and all. And sometimes they have such they're at the stage where they're so imaginative, and they will give you like a piece of paper, and then they will draw, and they will anyhow doodle, right? And then what you see is like you don't know what is it, but to them it's a house, and this is daddy, this is mommy, and they can tell you a whole story about it. And they can just tell you different things. And when they see something, some of them can tell you that, oh, this is not what I see. This is they tell you what they see, and it's like, oh yeah, actually that is true, right? It helps me to keep an open mind. So I love interacting with toddlers. It just keep me fresh, right? Next, you see something new every day, right? Especially about yourself, right? And over the years, we have formed an opinion about ourselves. There's a certain way we see ourselves. For example, we see ourselves like, we are slow, we are fast, or we are not confident. Start to see something new about yourself. And just, if you look hard enough, you will definitely see something new. Right? I know some of you are like telling me, I'm already 50s, I'm in my 40s, by the way, and I'm already in my 50s, 60s, what's so new about it? If you look hard enough, there is something new that you can find every day. Yes? Right. Next, hear something new. Right. Separate what you are hearing now, right, from others, and what you are talking to yourself with self-talk. You separate what you are hearing now into cans and cannots. And you will find that, just be very mindful. Do you hear more things that a lot of people are telling you, I can, or a lot of things fall into the cannot. I cannot do this, I cannot do that, for whatever reasons. Right? There's no really valid reasons. They are all excuses, honestly. If you really want to do something, you can do it. It's just a matter of how fast, how slow, or how long you take to complete the task. That's all. Right? And be mindful, because we unconsciously sometimes we absorb what others are saying. So sometimes it's not that we are saying it about ourselves. Sometimes other people are saying that about us. And if you're not mindful, you don't do consciously, stop it and block it, right? And that you absorb all these negatives, all these cannot into your life. And so you start to form, it's a seed, and start to grow. And you really, at some point, you will start to believe that I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So always hear something new, right? And what you can do is that, once you hear something new, also say something new. So what you can do, combining these three, you pay attention to what others are saying, especially the positive things. and you learn to repeat what other people are saying. So for example, if you notice, just pick someone in your mind that is quite positive, quite confident, right? You just take note of how the person talk. You know, sometimes they make fun of themselves and all. So maybe you can learn to repeat what they say. If they say that you are good and they are, you know, this is a good job, learn to say that to yourself, right? Say something new if you have not been saying that to yourself. Yeah. Okay. So next one, physical. I know there's quite a lot of how to. So actually, the list can go on and on, but I decided to just keep to this about 9 of them. Right. So another very easy way to pick up your build your confidence, of course, is physically. And you know, when you look good, you feel good as well. And you know, most of human beings are all visual animals. We tend to go by what we see, and you will tend, you know, once you look into the mirror, you'll find that, hey, you know, I look good. You tend to have a bit of confidence as well. And exercise, you know, exercise release the an endorphin, that is a happy hormone that make you happy, and when you're happy, you tend to have more confidence. Research has shown, right, people who exercise more tend to be a bit more confident than people who don't. I'm not saying it's a absolute, right, but tend to, okay? Because when you exercise, you also socialize, right? And it's a discipline as well. So there are a lot of things that along the way, you thought that you're just exercising, but a lot of things that come along with it. And confidence is one of them, right? Volunteer. Why volunteer? Because when you volunteer, you satisfy a need in us that's called contribution. And as you volunteer to help the more needy ones, people, you'll feel that you are actually very blessed. You will grow to become more grateful as well, and because you realize that you already have so much in your life, and you will start to look at what you have instead of what you don't have, right? And next is decide on one area that you want to improve on. Right? And there are many things. How earlier on we talked about being a specific area that you're not confident, or you're generally not confident. So if there's a specific area, it's quite easy for you to just focus on it. If you are generally not a confident person, don't try to build confidence all at one go. Okay, just pick one area that you want to be very confident in, and you go zoom in and focus on that and improve on that first. Then later on, because once you have that, then you build on it, and you will discover certain things about you, and you can, when you want to improve on the second area, you will find that it gets easier and easier because you have already built out a momentum, right? And last but not least, the most important of all is know that you are not worse than anyone as a human being. Neither are you better than others, right? If you, as I mentioned, right, if you want to compare accurately, you know, compare the same stage. But if you can, don't compare at all. Just know that as a person, right, you are not worse off, you are not better off, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing is really know who you are, run your own race. So you can model after people, you know, you learn from other people certain things, you know, like I say, I mentioned, I admire and respect Oprah Winfrey. So there are certain characteristics that I might learn from her, a model after her, but I am me. I will never be her, but I don't have to be her in order to have that kind of influence. I don't have to be like her in order to be confident. I don't have to be like her in order to do the things that I want in life. But I just need to model after certain characteristics that I like, and I think it's something that I want to learn. So at the end of the day, know who you are as well, right? So yes, stay connected with us. Right, that's all I have for today. I trust that you have learned at least one thing today, and to internalize the quick tips and how-tos, and you will reach your destination at some point. Don't just learn, okay? You have to apply. Otherwise, there's no point. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about their job, you know, being overtaken by technology and artificial intelligence. And I want to advocate at the moment is that, you know, people skill is one skill that will never be replaced by technology and artificial intelligence, right? Because no matter what, how good technology or AI is, it can never replace human beings. We are human beings. We are created to be social animals. We crave for each other's companionship. And this pandemic has shown more than ever that how much we need to be connected with another person, right? We can have all the technologies, And in some countries, we have, in Singapore, we call it circuit breakdown. In other countries, we call it lockdown, where you have to stay at home and work from home, and you can't meet your friends, can't meet your families. And during this time, we realize how much we crave to have a sit down dinner with somebody, how much we miss our friends, and despite all the technology, how no matter how good, how easy to use, we still crave that just that simple dinner, sit down dinner with somebody, just that hug with somebody, just that handshake with somebody. So people skills are something that will never be replaced by technology and AI. And I don't care what business are you in or what industries are you in, you are dealing with people, right? So because you can, even though you are so-called, you may think that you are not dealing with people directly, but behind every technology, behind every artificial intelligence, there's human beings behind it. There are people behind it. It's just like when I first started with this video sharing, it was scary for me as well, because I'm used to talking to hundreds and thousands of people, but I'm not used to talking to a machine or laptop or camera. I'm very awkward in front of cameras. But I learned that behind this camera, behind those who are watching, there's a person behind the camera, and you guys are watching me. So that's how we can interact with you guys, at least for the time being, right? So in terms of people skills, so no matter what, you still need to connect with people. You still need to interact with people. So you might as well learn how to deal with people, right? Okay, so stay connected with us through our Facebook and our YouTube. I post videos like this. If you have a recurring problem with how to deal with people, let us know in the chat box, or you can PM us if you're a bit shy, right? And let us know. We will answer as many questions as possible. We might even do a video pertaining to your problem. You never know. There's someone else who have the same problem as well, same question as well, right? So like and share this video, follow us, subscribe us. We'll see you next time. Bye.